Hello, folks. Just really quick, I wanted to say we filmed this video before the Wicked social media reactions came out a few days ago. We filmed this, I believe, on Monday or Sunday, so a little bit ago before those reactions. But those reactions didn't change either of our perspectives and opinions on the film and its awards chances that we are about to state in this video. We are pretty much on the same level of belief in the film and its awards chances now as we were back then, so those reactions didn't really change anything. And those reactions, these early reactions, I don't know how much weight to give them anyways. So really quick little disclaimer there. Now enjoy our video discussion of Wicked and its awards chances.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Oscar Film Forecast. You can tell that I'm introducing the video because it is something about Wicked.
Yeah.
It's my most anticipated movie of the year, and hopefully it goes a little bit better than Joker Folie à Deux.
Yeah, one would hope.
Yeah, I expect it will be. And please tell us in the comments if the way that we're presented to you is appropriate. And I am the alpha of this group, and Jack is.
I don't know. I don't know if that's appropriate, but I don't know the story that well.
But we're about 3 weeks out from its release. After I've waited a lifetime for this movie, and we're going to be talking about it because it definitely has been on a little bit of an upswing. I think people are warming to the idea. I think especially because Joker kind of fell through. And so there's room for another big budget movie in here in the people's minds. If you've been following the show, you know that I am looking forward to this film and a little bit more optimistic than Jack. So why don't we start with the slightly more negative perspective?
The Glinda perspective.
Which, yeah, that would not be the Glinda perspective. So tell us. So what do you think as far as first off, are you willing to concede the box office bet that we had?
Yes, I will say the box office has changed my mind on this a little bit. If you're unaware, guys, we did do a box office bet a little bit ago, and I thought Gladiator, which we still don't know, but I thought Gladiator was going to open higher. Based off the tracking and ticket sales, it seems like it will be Wicked. It seems like both of them will do well, but Wicked will open above it. It seems like Wicked will do really well based off the sales. I think they said was the second best after Deadpool and Wolverine this year.
Yeah, it's up there with Inside Out too. They're saying it's one of the best PG rated debuts. We've talked about this. Like a comp for this movie is like the live action remix, like Beauty and the Beast 2017. I think is what this movie would aim for. And
yeah, I don't know if it will get that high, but I feel like since we talked about it and did that little box office thing, I feel like the marketing has really kicked into gear. Like since then they did all the popcorn, they did the ticket sales, the popcorn buckets, they did like all the interviews and such. So I feel like they're kicking the marketing into high gear, and I feel like it'll do pretty well. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be like $1 billion film, but I think it'll do good. Supposedly people have seen the film in the industry and have put it in their awards list since seeing it. I'm just still not confident looking at the trailer if it will be like, even if it is like a huge hit, like of a good enough quality for them to put it in there. Because when you look at the blockbusters that they put in there, I guess the comparison is Barbie, but I feel like there's more prestige around the people in that film versus the people in this film. You've got Greta Gerwig, a previous 2-time Best Picture nominee director, versus John Chu, who has some films like Crazy Rich Asians and In the Heights, but not quite on the same level as Gerwig. And then you've got Grande and Arrivo, who Arrivo does have
an Oscar nomination. Yeah. And you have Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh, you know, who's coming off for Oscar win.
I just think whether it's either leaning more towards Barbie or Wonka. I feel like Wonka is potentially what it could end up being, where it's like it's a box office hit, it does well, but it's not like of the kind of quality, because that was also a musical box office hit and all that stuff. It's not of this like on the same register as what the Academy tends to go for. So that's what I'm worried about.
Here's the thing, and this is what I've always felt will help it if the movie delivers, because there's 4 words that I think really help this movie: The Wizard of Oz, and the legacy of that movie. And if this movie is able to capture that effectively, as the Broadway show does, then I think it could be looked upon fondly as a celebration of the current, you know, a modern celebration of, I could argue, the quintessential American movie ever made. And so I think that is going to activate people, especially Oscar voters who love the Wizard of Oz, in a way that I think it could get it into the conversation in a year of 10. You know, I'm not saying this is going to win anything, but I do think that it's very strong for consideration because of that, because it carries this sort of film legacy. Um, so let's go through it. I think both of us were pretty confident in costume design, production design, that it could do very well in that.
Costume for sure.
Yeah.
Production design, I still worry with the Wonka comparison because
Okay.
that's the same production designer, not similar style, but like a fantasy style. So I do worry if the film doesn't completely materialize, it could just be costume design. And is there
That's fair.
original song for this? I don't think there
From the
is.
track listing, no, the track listing is identical to the
That's
Broadway
crazy.
Act One. We'll see if that's true. Um, the thing about the production design when compared to Wonka, and I think Wonka is a fair comparison now, given that we haven't seen the movie.
Mhm.
I do think that the Land of Oz is a little bit more than London.
It's more otherworldly than London for sure. Yeah.
And I mean, we've heard of this since it first debuted at CinemaCon. That like the footage, like they planted
The
all
behind the
those
scenes is
flowers,
impressive. But
like
I do feel like when you look at the behind the scenes photos of the production design, I honestly feel like those look better than the way it looks on the film. So much of the film, like the
well,
CGI and the grading of it, it just looks not great in my opinion.
I grant you the rendering on YouTube may look that way. I'm
Yeah,
waiting to see it in
that's
theaters
fair.
because that could change. Because I remember there was a shot in the Mary Poppins Returns trailer when the animation flowers take them in and before they go into the and like it looked awful on YouTube because the amount of
Yeah.
like rendering, even the I'm just Ken sparkles, it would all like on YouTube it looked like shit, but when you see it on the big
Mhm.
screen, it looked great. So
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for that. The other thing I will just say to the Wonka comparison is they are selling this as if this is a really important movie. And I don't think Wonka had that level of importance or prestige that
No.
this will have. That's why I bring up the Wizard of Oz comparison, because I think that comparison does give it a little prestige. And it's coming off of one of the biggest hits on Broadway. So like it
Mhm.
brings that with it. And it already has an established fan base that I don't think Wonka had. If anything, the Timothy Chalamet fans were powering that more than the Roald Dahl fans.
Yeah.
Um, maybe the Paddington fans. All right,
Mhm.
so costume design, production design. I think makeup and hairstyling also could be up there in a year or
What
five.
is it outside of her being green?
Well, I mean, I'm interested to see how they do some of the characters because, of course, on stage it's a little bit different. Um, but I just know that there's a lot of like you have the Emerald City, which in the show is very extravagant, and you have a lot of eccentric hairstyles. They do tend to go more
They
makeup,
like makeup though than hair.
but
Yeah.
I mean, when you're like
That's why I don't have it in.
when I look at like Joker, the first Joker, getting in for costume design, when it only had that one costume and he
But
only
I don't
wore
think this is
it
gonna be on the same level
I'm
as
just saying, I think when your main character is the one that has the most makeup on
that's
them,
fair.
I think that helps you. And
But even
so
then, she's just green. There's
we'll
no
see. But
prosthetics.
I do think that unlike a lot of the other times with makeup, this has I imagine a lot of ensemble, a lot like it will have this is just I mean, you look at all the different settings, I have to see how they use it. I have to see if they're going to lean more,
Mhm.
they could lean more puppetry, they could do CGI, given my knowledge of the show. So we'll see. I've been
Yeah.
trying to avoid at this point any new featurettes and trailers because I don't want to have the
Yeah.
whole movie in my head. Um, I think visual effects is also one that's on the bubble with. We have to see. I think if
Maybe. I feel better about that than makeup.
I feel like Twisters is in this kind of same realm of like it's probably like out for five. I think if Wicked tends to overperform in some of these other categories we're talking about, then I think visual effects is the easy one to put up. Because I mean there are clear things that you could point to. It's a
Yeah.
magical world. I think Harry Potter is also a fair comp for this as
Did
far as
Alice in Wonderland get visual effects? I feel like that did.
good question. Let me look that up.
'Cause that won production design. I feel like that definitely got at least, the
Yeah.
visual effects nomination. But that had a little more, like, mocap and stuff like that. But I think based off the trailer for this, there is definitely still
Yes.
visual effects
Alice
in
in
there.
Wonderland got a visual effects nomination. All right, so then let's talk about the big two. Um, Best Actress, Best Picture. I know some people think Ariana Grande. I
She
listen.
seems to be getting more attention right now than Revo is what I'm getting online.
I think she's the more popular actor, and I think she's also the
Yeah.
discovery with the movie. I think people know Cynthia Erivo is talented. She is an Oscar nominee. When it
Oscar
comes
voters didn't watch Victorious?
I guess they're not.
No?
And I mean, again, given my extensive knowledge of the role, it is a fantastic role.
Yeah.
And so, from what I've seen, Grande is absolutely just crushing it. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, but I'm not going to go that
That's an
far.
open category. But
It's an
yeah.
open category. Let's
It seems
see.
more like it doesn't seem like I don't know the role, but based on the trailer, it seems more like a bubbly, fun role than like maybe like a dramatic role. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
but it does have its emotional moments, and I think
Mhm.
she obviously gets if we always talk about like the scene, and she gets popular, one of the most iconic Broadway songs of the last 25 years. So I'm curious to see what will happen with Grande. I could see it happening, but again, we talked about this with Margaret Qualley in our Substance video. Go check that one out. She would have
Yeah,
to
I agree with
pop
what you're about to say here.
Selena Gomez, and
She
like,
won't.
and that's where it's like it's really tough because Selena Gomez is in that same camp, but has been
She's in
solidified
a
thanks
top
to
3
in the building,
picture.
and she's giving a much more dramatic performance. Um, though Grande does benefit from being a co-lead in supporting. That always helps.
Mhm.
Uh, so right now I'm kind of pushing that aside, but putting an asterisk. I think Arrivo has a great chance because the movie is going to end and send you out of the theater on her best scene, which I'm sure is Defying Gravity, which is one of the great songs. I
Mhm.
mean, it inspired an Oscar-winning phenomenon in Frozen. That's how good this song was. And so I think that it's possible because I think the Golden Globes could go for her. She could win Golden
Yeah.
Globe. You know, we'll see. She's going up against Mikey Madison, and we have
I
to
don't think
see.
she could win that.
I'm really torn with the Nora just because I feel like this like listen, I love this movie, but I mean Sean Baker's movies have never performed in the way that people are thinking this one will. So I still think there's a slight question mark around
I don't think she's
Underground.
locked up like lots of people
So
do.
we'll see. But I think Cynthia Erivo, she could get nominated at the Globes, she could get nominated at SAG, and the Critics' Choice. I mean, they have so many contenders, and they've been tending to go more like
Popular.
traditional and popular. I mean, Saltburn got in last year, so
Yeah.
I think Arrivo could get that fifth spot because it's such a powerful performance. It is a great character, and she's given one of the great songs of the last 25 years. So
Mhm.
if there seems to be more momentum for the movie and the texts support her, I think she does stand a good chance. And I think right now I would have her in my 5 because I think it's a less of a jump than some of the other people, where the other people
What is
have
the
to.
nomination path you would see for her to
So
get?
I made this on September 6th, 2024. So take
Okay.
out original song because right now we
Yeah.
don't think there will be one. This is what I'm predicting, so that you can see the date, and I will not change this.
Okay.
Because I think it will. Right now, I'm predicting it's at like number 9, number 10 to get into picture because I do think it represents a sort of type of movie that I do think people will respond to. I don't think we've seen a musical like this in a fair amount of time. This sort of wedding cake musical that people really can get on board with. It's going. I think also when musicals are hits, they tend to do very well with the Academy. Greatest Showman aside, that had technical
Yeah.
issues that we don't have to talk about. I think it's more likely than something like September 5th, which would need a lot of passion from the top branches. So again, I'm going to be the optimist. I'm going to be very excited because I've been waiting for this movie, and everything that I see makes me think that they're going to do it justice. And so, yeah, that's where
The
I
final
am.
thing I will ask of you, if you have it in Best Picture, is what does it need to get for you? Like, does it need what are the nominations it needs to get beforehand? Golden Globe, Picture, Comedy or Musical, could get
Yeah,
Critics' Choice, Best Picture,
I really
PGA
think
Top 10.
yeah, PGA would be good. I think the other thing we have to mention though is that it is female led, so we could have some issues there because maybe men don't connect with it as much. Because at Barbie at
Mhm.
least had Ken, which is it has Jonathan Bailey, but that's not the same level as importance as Ken.
No.
Um, I think really when it's going to come down to when it comes to Best Picture is Cynthia Erivo. If Cynthia Erivo is not in the major conversation, then I don't think it gets into Best Picture. I think
Mhm.
actress and picture will go hand in hand. If not, then it's a craft play, and I think it will get the nominations, as you said, that like Beauty and the Beast was able to get costume production design, and then I think visual effects is in there, like Alice in Wonderland. So I'm predicting, I guess, let's see, right now 6 Academy Award nominations. So
Okay.
I think it's a fair total. But
It is.
the asterisk again too is that if this becomes the holiday favorite phenomenon, then that will only help it. If this is the movie
That
everybody's
will
talking
the box
about,
office is crucial for this film.
yeah, because I think this could do. I mean, this could be more bigger than Sonic, Mufasa, Gladiator, Moana. We'll see. If it's able to,
I don't know about Moana, but yeah.
we'll see. If it's able to rise above that, and surprise everybody. Because I remember at this time, like this amount of time out from release for Barbie, people were thinking it was going to open with half as much as it ended up opening with.
Mhm. Yeah,
So same could happen with Wicked. I'm very curious. I think the runtime is asking a lot, and that could end up
it
being
is.
a thorn in its ruby red slipper.
So I am a little less optimistic than you on that. I probably only have it for one or two nominations, but a little balance there. I probably only have costume design and maybe production design. And like we said, there's no original song. So we'll see though. Like we said, I think it really depends on the box office. If it is a huge hit, that will definitely help it get stuff like PGA and Golden Globes and all of that stuff that will help it on its path there. So it's definitely up in the air. I think it has a possible chance to, but I'm definitely not quite as optimistic as
I'll
you.
take,
So.
I'll take that win after months of you.
I'd say it's in the top like 15 to 20 right now. So that's
Given
definitely
that
an
one of
improvement.
the times we did this video, it wasn't even in like your top 30. Like,
Yeah,
I'll
so
take
it's
that.
definitely risen. It's risen for sure. So maybe it will only continue to rise. We'll have to see. It's definitely like we've said in a bunch of videos, an open race.
It'll continue to
So
defy gravity.
it will continue to defy gravity. There you go.
I'm gonna
It's a
be
good pun.
insufferable if this is actually a contender for
That's
the whole season.
yes, you will be, but it'll be fun. Comment your guys' thoughts on the film. Do you think it will defy gravity and become an Oscar contender? And yeah, thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.